Hello, and welcome to Module 1, Lesson 1 for our Leadership Development course. And this week we're going to be looking at an introduction to leadership and the foundational theories around it. Let's go. Here's your Friday schedule, so you can have a look at things that will be coming due and the type of things we're going to be talking about each week. Course homework. Each week you're going to have something to consider, an assessment to do, which will help you learn about yourself as a leader and the leader that you hope to become. And so for this week coming, you'll be asked to do two things for this coming Friday. Complete your type focus assessment. That is a Myers-Briggs type indicator. It is free, and in the next slide I'll show you how to access that. And then you need to purchase your Strength Finder PIN code and complete the assessment using that PIN code. And again, I'll show you the link in the next slide. So here to purchase is the Strength Finder. You must buy a new one in order to receive a PIN code. It's a one-use PIN code. And you will be provided with all of the material needed from the Leadership Experience textbook written by Daft. This book really outlines some of the theories around leadership. So we'll be using some of those things that you might find in the textbook as well as other online resources. So everything from that particular resource you'll be provided with. For the Myers-Briggs type indicator, you need to go to type focus, and then you'll be able to use your Sheridan College access code. We've purchased a subscription. When it says use your Sheridan College email here, for example, we all have two different email addresses at the college. One is a SureNet address. SureNet means Sheridan Network. So that's only usable within our own Sheridan community, but you will be using your regular email address, so it would be whatever that first set of words is, your name, or whatever name characters you use, and then at sheridancollege.ca. So essentially you're dropping that SureNet out of your email address. Okay. Here's the access code. So you will go to this Myers-Briggs type indicator type focus website. You're going to create a profile, use that access code, and you'll be able to answer the questions for free with this subscription. It's a series of questions where it asks you what preferences you have. So really, the importance here is to answer them honestly. Even though you might look at a question and think, I really want to be this, so if I answer this question this way, this is about discovering you and who you are and how you're going to be able to operate, function, and grow within your own personality. So we really want to be honest here. We're going to talk about what these type indicators mean, what strengths you have, what challenges to focus on, and how these type indicators are as leaders and the growth opportunities for leaders with particular type indicators. So please be honest in these questions, because it is where you're going to get the most information about you. So here's where you would find the Strength Finder. And again, a little bit different from the type indicator. This Strengths Finder really does identify what strengths exist within you. And when we talk about growing, sometimes we think, well, we should be focusing on our challenges, where we're not the best. But in fact, research has shown that we are better to develop our strengths and play into those strengths than to try and backfill a gap in our skills or abilities or interests or experience. So I attended a leadership event a couple of years ago, I guess, and one of the sentences or ideas really struck me, and it was, only do what only you can do. And that means apply yourself to those things where you are best. And in a company or team situation, then you gather those around you who can do the things that you're not as good at. And as a team, you get to move a goal forward or a project forward. Okay? So what does it mean to be a leader? Here it's best to kind of maybe shut this video off right now and jot down a few ideas. What are the key characteristics of being a leader? What do you view as a leader? Who have you seen lead before, and what characteristics or qualities have you seen in those individuals? So maybe do that. Jot down maybe 5 or 10 ideas and come back to this video when you've done that. I'd like you to have a listen to this Matthew McConaughey motivational speech. This is a speech that Matthew McConaughey gave some years ago as a convocation or graduation speech to graduates of a university. And he really lays it on the line about the toughness, resilience, and things are not easy, and the things that you can do to go forward, to achieve, to grow, and to become a leader. So have a look at this. YouTube link is there, and come back to me when you've done that. So defining leadership. What exactly is leadership? The definition would be an influence relationship among leaders and followers who intend real changes and outcomes that reflect their shared purpose. So, in regular terms, it's a person and people who follow them, who have a goal, and who work together in order to reach that goal. Components or aspects of leadership. What's involved in leadership? So let's go around this diagram and see. So in the center is leader, and around it there are 6 balloons, I guess, they're not circles, balloons, that contain aspects or components of leadership. So let's start at the top right. Intention. Intention means that you are leading purposefully. So you're not just going about your business, not sure what you're doing. You are going about it with an intention of achieving something, reaching a goal, working towards something, building a team, for example. The darker blue balloon says personal responsibility and integrity. We don't admire a leader who doesn't take responsibility for their actions, for their words, and who has no integrity or ethics. We want to see a leader who will lead, will take responsibility for their decisions and the outcomes of those decisions, and has integrity. Integrity being that honorable code to do the right thing. Okay? The darker green balloon, change. So a leader is a change agent. A leader is someone who is behind change, influencing change, creating change through their leadership and their vision. The next balloon, shared purpose. So a shared purpose simply means that the leader doesn't lead and go alone, generally, but has a shared purpose, meaning it shares an idea, a goal, or a focus with others. And through their leadership characteristics, they're able to encourage and move towards a goal with others having the same purpose. This really flows perfectly into the next 2 balloons, followers and influence. A leader needs to have at least one follower, or they're not leading anyone or anything. So if you're a leader with intention, with integrity, looking to change. You need a shared purpose, and you need followers who share that purpose with you. And you need to have influence. You need to be able to motivate and influence and move people in order to help you lead change with that shared purpose. So all of these things you can see are part and parcel of leadership, key components. So influence. I think I've spoken with this just in that introduction. Relationships among people is not passive, it is multi-directional. So you influence somebody, they influence you, and so on. And it is non-coercive. So what that means is that you have that relationship, that influence willingly. You are not coercing someone into your ideals or into your goals or into your program. It is non-coercive. It is with a willing heart and a willing mind. Reciprocal and change. It results as a part of shared vision and people who want substantive changes. Followers. Well, it takes at least two. Leaders must have followers. Qualities required for effective leadership are also needed to be an effective follower. Integrity, responsibility. Think for themselves. Carry out assignments with energy and enthusiasm. A shared purpose. Leadership is shared among leaders and followers. Everyone should be fully engaged. Everyone should accept higher levels of responsibility. Please jot down any questions you have to this point, and we'll address them this week in class. So think about the past decade of leadership, the past 10 years. In the past decade, leadership has changed. What it meant to be a leader a decade or more ago is quite different from what it means to be a leader today. If we look at what's called a paradigm is a shared mindset that represents a fundamental way of thinking about, perceiving, and understanding the world. I would suggest that there has been a paradigm shift, a change in that shared mindset, a change in that fundamental way of thinking, and that has then influenced the role of a leader. So the new reality for leaders, and we're going to go over each one specific, is the old paradigm leader, over a decade ago, their roles were as stabilizer, right the ship, steer the ship, keep the ship on the path, right? Stabilizing the team. Controller, to make sure that things ran well and you were the ultimate, buck stops here, you're the leader, you control what's going on. Competitor, you were competing with others in the marketplace, you were competing with other leaders perhaps for promotions, for jobs, and it was a very competitive situation. Diversity avoider. Leaders wanted people around them who were like them. They wanted to have feedback from those who thought the same way, who looked the same way, who had mostly the same experiences. And I think perhaps before that, the global market and the world opened up, that was probably easy to do because that was your employment base. Those were the people who would tend to follow you and so on. And the old paradigm leader was seen as the hero, the one that was, the one miraculous leader who made everything right, who kept us from trouble, steered the ship, controlled the things that would happen in an organization, for example. However, if we look across to the right side here, we can see what the new paradigm leader looks like. No longer are they a stabilizer, but they have become, in fact, a crisis manager. what happens in their environment. They need to address, they need to be flexible, they need to be quick on their feet, they need to be critical thinkers. A controller became a facilitator. A facilitator is someone who makes things happen, they facilitate things to happen, they make them happen, they bring people together who can advise and make those things happen, but they're no longer the one that solely controls the situation. We've gone from someone who is a competitor to someone, in fact, who is a collaborator, who problem solves with others, who accepts advice and information from other people. They work together, and in that way, they lead collaboratively. From a diversity avoider, we look at a diversity promoter, one who sees the benefit of a variety of perspectives on their leadership goals, their motivation, and their influence. And they support and successfully promote diversity and bring that diverse voice into the organization. They're no longer a hero that you'd put on the pedestal, but rather a humble leader who is willing to share the success with others and who works alongside others, not directs and then steps back and lets others do the work. Okay, so these are the 5 major changes which I've spoken about earlier. So, if leadership is what we just spoke about and considered, then what's management? Aren't they the same? Well, the definition of management is attainment of organizational goals in an effective and efficient manner through planning and organizing, staffing and directing, controlling organizational resources. So management is actually managing the leaders and the leaders' team's vision. They're the ones that get the things done in that effective and efficient manner. So what is vision? Vision. It is a picture of an ambitious, desirable future for the organization or team. Where do we want to be? How are we going to get there? Who is coming along for the journey? And then what are we going to put in place to get there? Ambitious, desirable. But again, wait, isn't management leadership? Well, no. Let's look at the 5 major differences. So with management, you are having direction and purpose by way of planning and budgeting, minimizing risks for sure results, focus on the bottom line. Leadership, on the other hand, creates that vision and that strategy. They maximize an opportunity and they keep an eye on the horizon. So they're not dealing with the details. Alignment. With management, you're organized and you organize and you staff the journey. You direct and control, and you create structure and order. So you're the person in management who says, okay, we need 10 staff, we need someone to do this, someone to do that, someone to do this. You would set a schedule, you would set a budget, I suppose. That comes up later, I think. No, a budget, and you create that structure and order in order to follow that vision. The leadership creates the shared culture and values that makes us want to do this activity, to go on this journey. They provide learning opportunities. They encourage networks and flexibility. So relationships. Management invest in goods. They use a position of power and they focus people on specific goals. Leadership, on the other hand, they invest in people. They see the bounty that people's motivation and influence have, and they want to make sure that people feel valued. They use personal influence and they inspire with purpose and trust. Personal qualities of management, they're sometimes emotionally distant. They don't get involved with people in that, what do people want, what are their expectations. They really want to keep distant. They are an expert mind. They talk, they conform, and they provide insight into the organization, into that structure. Leadership, on the other hand, make emotional connections. They lead with their heart. They have an open mind. They are mindful. They listen. They know that leadership depends on relationship building and that two-way communication, listening for understanding and communicating back. They have insight into self, their character, and the character of others. The outcomes for management, they maintain stability. They create a culture of efficiency. Leaders, on the other hand, create change and a culture of agility and integrity. So try and write down some of these concepts in your own words: management, leadership, vision. Try and think of the times when you've worked with others and you've seen managers and you've seen leaders. Note any differences that we haven't discussed here today. And if you have any questions around this aspect, management, leadership, vision, please jot them down now and bring them up in our next class. So I'm going to provide, again, some more links to little videos that might help as well to, better highlight the differences. So here is a little video. It's 6 minutes and 21 seconds. The difference between managers and leaders from Simon Sinek. Hopefully a few of you know him. So here's the link. Have a listen and come back to us. For generations, researchers have looked at what makes a person a leader and differing leadership styles. We see leaders come and go. We see leaders lead politically, in government, in business, in management, in academia, within our own household and family. Leaders emerge everywhere. But what makes those persons a leader rather than a follower? And are they always leaders or always followers? To talk about leadership, we need to look at some leadership theories. There are several theories that float around, and sometimes we can see that leaders come from a variety of theories. It's not just one, but many overlap. So the 6 here that I'm going to share with you: great man theories, trait theories, behavior theories, contingency theories, influence theories, and relational theories. Have a listen to this video about leadership theories. They look at 5 in particular: great man theory, trait, contingency, situational, and behavioral. It's 7 minutes and 37 seconds, so have a listen. Take some notes. It's really actually a great summary of these particular theories, and come back to us. If you have any questions around these theories, please jot them down and we'll discuss them in the next class. Becoming a self-aware leader. Self-aware simply means being aware of those things about you and how you can use them or grow them or present them in order to be and become a leader. We're going to become more self-aware in this first half of semester by completing a number of assessments that will have us look at our Myers-Briggs type indicator, our type focus, our strengths, our conflict styles, our leadership styles, And we're going to be able to know more about ourselves. Every one of us will have a different profile by mid-semester where you can really have a snapshot or a picture of yourself where you are now and those areas where we're going to develop to become a leader and grow as a leader. So when we become self-aware and we're skill building to increase leadership competence, we start off on a journey, on a trajectory where we are unconsciously incompetent. Stage 1, we don't know what we're doing, but we really don't know that we don't know what we're doing. Unconsciously incompetent. At stage 2, we become consciously incompetent. We know that we don't know things, and we understand that we need to develop. In stage 3, we become consciously competent. We're working hard, we're conscious of growing our skills and becoming competent in our leadership. And by then, we're really working hard and we're seeing growth. In stage 4, we become unconsciously competent. We are competent just by being and doing. We don't have to think as hard as we did. We're not developing the skills. We're still growing, but it's not as effortful as it was in stage 1 and 2. Leaders today need to be flexible, of course, but they still need to stay on track. And what happens if they don't? Agile leadership is giving up control in the traditional sense and encouraging the growth and development of others to ensure organizational flexibility and responsiveness. They say the only constant in this world is change. And if an organization isn't flexible and responsive to that change, then they will not succeed. Derailment. Derailment refers physically to when a train goes off the track. And metaphorically, it simply means a phenomena in which a manager with an impressive track record reaches a certain level but goes off track and can't advance because of a mismatch between the needs in the job and the personal skills and qualities they possess. 5 fatal flaws that cause derailment. You've reached a level in your leadership and something goes wrong. I'm going to read these quickly and then I'll refer to the slides one by one. 5 fatal flaws that cause derailment include performance problems, problems with relationships, difficulty changing or adapting, difficulty building and leading a team, and a too narrow management experience. With performance problems, we fail to meet business objectives because of too much time promoting themselves and playing politics, a failure to fulfill promises, or a lack of attention to priorities. They spend time promoting themselves, they play politics, and they lose their way, lose the plot, lose the direction. Problems with relationships. Leadership is all about relationship building. They're being insensitive, manipulative, critical, and not trustworthy in relationships with peers, direct reports, customers, and others. They lack empathy, they lack integrity. They have difficulty changing. They're not learning from feedback and mistakes to change old behaviors. They're defensive, unable to handle pressure, unable to change management style to meet the new demands. They are not learning from the past. They have difficulty building and leading a team. Poor management of direct reports, an inability to get work done through others, and not identifying and hiring the right people. There is no I in team. meaning that you have to be part of a team, you have to collaborate, and you have to build the right team. If you don't hire the right team players, your team has a problem. The last of the 5 fatal flaws is too narrow of a management experience. You have an inability to work effectively or collaborate outside their current function, failing to see the big picture when moved into general management positions over several functions. That results from the inexperience of the leader, perhaps also a lack of mentoring from those who would promote them. They have a failure to look up, down, right, and left, meaning those above them, those who report to them, those who are peers, right and left in the organization. Again, any questions on these 5 fatal flaws that derail leadership? Jot them down. Let's discuss them in our next class. So what do you need to do next? Your homework for this week is to complete that type focus assessment. It's free. Bring it to class this week. You need to purchase your Strength Finder PIN code and complete the assessment. This is how you do it. Your Myers-Briggs type indicator at the Type Focus website, right there, typefocus.com. Use that shared and access code. We have a subscription and you'll be able to access that for free. And then purchase your Strength Finder at this Gallup website. Buy a brand new PIN code. It's a one use only PIN code, and complete your Strength Finder. And again, bring the results with you. I'd like you to set up folders on your computer where you have your assessments and then a folder for each of these assessments going forward. It'll make it much easier to complete assignments that will be coming up. And again, here's our schedule for Fridays, letting you know in advance the kinds of activities we'll be doing and the kinds of assignment you'll be working on so that you can plan your schedule as well. I look forward to seeing you this week, and thank you so much for listening to this PowerPoint and coming along this journey with me as I help you become self-aware leaders and become better leaders in your personal development journey. Thank you. Bye now.